Welcome, race fans. We are live. This is Bigg Wizurd TV, and we're live on the air again. This is Ron here in the broadcast booth, and we've got some action for you tonight. We're going to have a screamer of a race. This is Le Mans. For those that follow racing regularly, you'll know that Le Mans was ran IRL. I learned that just recently. IRL is in real life. In real life this week at Le Mans, in the great place, the great country of France. And let me see, I got to get a few things set up here to get it going. But it looks like we're ready to rock and roll. Waiting for all my screens to come up. But yeah, we've got a pile of drivers. We've got 15 drivers. We did seem to lose a few here with the break. We had a break a couple weeks ago for Memorial Day, and we haven't had them all come back yet. But Brandon Dooley, Jason Ray, Philip Scott, Morgan Teggy, Josh Palin, Kyle Robinson, the league leaders are back on track. They missed last week due to running in the 24 hours of Le Mans. Majors Garage, hosted by Majors Garage last weekend. But getting a pretty good crowd. People starting to come in. We should have a few more popping in now, maybe, from the other race, but I think they might already be. Brandon Dooley right now with the quickest time in practice. 6 minutes to go in the practice session. We are excited to be here tonight. The Le Mans race finished up this morning. The real live Le Mans race. And now we are running here in E2WR Racing another Le Mans race. This one isn't going to be as long. We're going to be doing about 6 laps in the sprint, maybe 5 or 6 laps in the sprint, and then I believe it's 8 or 9. I don't know. I can't remember. Let me pull up the chart here and see what we can. That will tell me at least what I intended to do. It won't actually tell me what I actually did. So, hey, we get most of it. We get most of the information. Let's see. Schedules. It says we're supposed to be running 6 laps in the sprint and 11 laps in the feature. They're going to get 4 laps to get their qualifying in, and that's all. The sessions are slightly longer than the regular sessions. Tonight they're just a tad longer. Because of the length of this racetrack. 8.5 miles out here. And for those that are race fans out there throughout the world, the winner of Le Mans 24-hour overall was the number 51 Ferrari team in the LMDH class. LMDH is the new class that has been released in the United States in IMSA racing as the GTP class. In the World Endurance Championship, which is the racing controlled by the FIA. The class is called the LMDH class. So, here we are. Wow, thanks for tuning in. This one's going to be a hot one. We got 4 minutes left in the practice session. Some of these guys just came over from the JNR Craftworks GT3 Contender Series, and now they're here in the GT3 Challenge. So podium history lesson here for Le Mans. The last 2 years has been won overall by Toyota, as they were the only car in the LMDH class. This year, with IMSA bringing out their GTP class, which is the same class in the United States. Now there are a pile of cars capable of running in that race. There's the Porsche 962, there's the Cadillac V series. There is the Toyota, which has been there for a few years. They've got the most experience and have been doing really good in the World Endurance Championship this year. Ferrari is new. There's also an Acura. There's a Peugeot. And more coming soon. I've heard Lamborghini is going to throw their hat in, and possibly we might see Audi back on the top class, back in the top class for the World Endurance Championship. The racing was intense over the weekend, and I expect the same here. Our lap times, as you see, they're just going to try to finish up these. Practice is going to end, and it ends abruptly, and they just can't finish their lap. So everybody might not get to finish their lap, but that's okay. Brandon out in the front right now with the quickest time in the temperatures. Little lower temperatures actually have raised the times. 3:55.9 though. Brandon's pretty close to what he was doing yesterday in practice. Morgan with a 3:57.4, Jason 3:57.9, and we don't know what setup they were using, how much fuel they had on board, the weight of the car, and that when they did those laps, it's not known. So we don't know, but what we can see is that there's 8 drivers under 4 minutes. Morgan and Philip right there together with 3:57.4, 3:57.5, just a tenth apart. And after 8.5 miles, that's pretty intense. This is the GT3 class that we run in the United States IMSA class. In IMSA racing, it's called the GTD. GT Daytona, they call it. But in the World Endurance Championship, it's called GT3. And that is significant because this is the final year that the 24-hour Le Mans will run with the GTE car, or what was called in the IMSA series, the GTLM, or GT Le Mans car. GTLM, GTE AM series won this morning by the Corvette racing team. Factory team from Corvette went over from the United States to run in the race, and had a problem early, went down a lap, and still managed to win the race. So great strategy throughout, great run for those guys. Really happy to see those guys up on the top of the podium. But we don't have 62 cars in our field, and it's probably a good thing, but we've got plenty of racetrack to stretch this out, spread out, and watch the action here, as right now we're kind of slowing everything down. Let's see if we can find somebody still out there tooling around. I don't think there's too many. Yeah, not too many. Now here's another development. As you can see, we've got the cars' brands are on the top right of the screen. Brandon Dooley in the always familiar BMW. Morgan Teggy, along with Sean Williams and Emmett Lindquist, Kyle Robinson. Those 4 drivers have elected to drive the Porsche 911. Now, that shouldn't be too big of a surprise to the race fans out there, because last week they also drove that car, or a lot of them drive the Porsche. However, iRacing has a new season that just started this last Monday, which means those guys have new cars. So with those new cars, the 911 is now a 992. You can see it here. Sean Williams driving the number 6 green and black Matco Tools sponsored Porsche 911 992. And that car is brand new to iRacing. They were running a 991 version in the GT3 class. Now over to the 992.
Loud and clear.
Thank you, Jason.
A little word from race control.
Mooney, that had to feel good, honestly. That was a lot of fun.
Everybody out for their warm-up lap. This is the out lap.
Talk about the wet dream for you.
How are we getting your feet? What's going on? Looks like we've got some audio feed coming in from the stream. that's okay. The 911 brand new, which means as a brand new car, they don't have setups. There are no setups pre-made for this car. So you can't go and go grab a setup from some professional company and just tweak it a little bit to make it work for you. This car has just been released in iRacing, so no setups, meaning you had to do it completely on your own. So the guys out there, Sean Williams, Morgan Teggy, Kyle Robinson, Emmett Lindquist, those guys have had to tweak their own setups and get those cars ready for the race. We'll see how that works out. As we race along here, we can see Morgan and Emmett kind of close together. Mooney's real close to them. In that white, red, black, and blue Ford GT. He's the only one out there in the Ford. We got a couple Audis out there today. Josh and Jason. We typically see those guys in the Audi. That's not new. Sean usually runs an Audi, and he's in that Porsche. So he must have found some speed. He ran the last race with us and did a pretty good job. Finished in second in the feature race. Nice job there from Sean. Nice clean run. And Sean in the number 6 again. Jason in the number 1, or Josh, sorry, he is out front. The familiar teal and black and white Dad Bod Motorsports edition of the Audi R8. Let's see who else we got out here. Gray Welch in the number 19. He's running in a BMW. He is not currently on the racetrack. Why is that? Kyle Robinson. Let's fix our camera again. Kyle Robinson in the black VRS painted. DRS and VRS on there. He's part of the DRS SimSport race team. And he is running in his black 911. Just finishing up our outlaps as these guys are just coming across the start-finish line. As they wind through the chicanes, you can see all of the chicanes here at the...
Those coming out of the pits, you know that we do have people on hot laps, so make sure to stay out of the way of those guys.
That's our race control. That's Jaden in race control. He's in the booth tonight. 16 drivers have now joined the race. So we've had one more added in. That might have been Brett Fay. I'm not sure who that was that joined us late. Drew Schiller on board with us tonight. Drew in the 27. Running in the Ferrari. That was my car of choice. He looks like possibly the only Ferrari in the field tonight. BMWs. A couple of Mercedes. Philip Scott typically, and again in the Mercedes. Alex Good, if he makes it out on track. Dom Ford not currently on. Well, he's out there. Let's see, Jason Rabe in the Audi. Mooney running the only Ford out here tonight. He's got his pirate paint job on there. Not sure if he has a special number package he was trying to put on. It did not. Maybe I can refresh my paints and see if that'll help. Maybe I can't because I can't see trading paints. So maybe that's why it's a messed up paint job. Let's see. I thought I installed it. Let's see if this helps. We'll give it a shot. Download some paints. Cars will go white and then back to their colors here in just a second. It's pretty standard for trading paints. We'll get that up to date for you. And it's going to take a few minutes here as it takes 4 minutes. 4 minutes to get around the racetrack. Some of the famous corners here we have as Brandon dives into the end of the Mulsanne Straight. Right here is the Mulsanne Corner, which is definitely one of the most famous corners in autosport. The Mulsanne Straight is it used to have no chicanes. Historically, it didn't have any chicanes in it, so it was one long straightaway. This here is the Gulf Straight. And then they're going to dive down into another famous corner, Indianapolis. As they hit this right-hander here. Banked on the second half, but this is a tricky entry. You pretty much go flat out over that corner and then hit the brakes real hard and take this left-hander neatly and cleanly as possible before you jump into Arnage here. And look how far over he goes, right over the top of those rumble strips, and around the corner he goes. With Kyle Robinson 2.5 seconds back. Now coming up to the famous Porsche curves. These two S's starting here. High speed corners. 5th gear corners here. You're going well over 150 miles an hour as you dive through these corners. And trying to hold on. Maybe. And then into the... As you exit Porsche curves, you dive right into Corvette curves. And this one has a really bad, right there, that rumble strip on the right-hand side. If your tires, if your driver's side tires are over that rumble strip, you get a slowdown. There are lots of slowdowns in iRacing on this racetrack, and they make a huge difference when you're cruising around and running those laps. You will get penalties, and they do not fall off easily because they're long straights and high speeds. We should get our first times coming across. We'll see how that goes. 3:55.9 for Kyle, 3:57.6 for Josh, or for Brandon. And up next, we should have a time in there from the 99. Maybe he had an off track somewhere or a slowdown. Sean Williams in the 6 crossing the line with a 4:01. The 6:16, that is that's our friend Ryan Fry in the 6:16. He did not get a time. Morgan Tiggy coming across now in the 07. Where is Morgan on the chart? Morgan, why are you at the bottom? Morgan coming across with, again, no time. Well, he's not. Yeah, he must have had either an off track or a slowdown. Mooney comes across with a 4-minute flat in his Ford. Competitive. There we go. There's the... I think that was the wrong one. He asked me to check the... He asked me to check the paint, and I did, and I downloaded it, and it still didn't give me the one he wanted, so... Ooh, that's going to be a slowdown. He's going to be mad at that one. He's going to have to go all the way around again to get another lap. Now, they only get 20 minutes, and they only get 4 laps. So, they've got to hit him clean to get him to count. Josh Baling, 3:58, pulls himself into the 3rd spot on the grid. Trying to download this and see if I can get this to update. Mooney said he had a new paint, and I think it was that white one. But for some reason, Trading Paints has fought me again and said, no, you can't have the current paint. I'm not going to get it because there's the black one, and that's all I can get. Because they're reloading now. So Mooney in the familiar black with the blue stripe. As we watch him go around, looks like the 27, Drew Schiller coming around, finished his lap. Also does not get a time, so got a lot of guys going around without getting the times in. So we'll see how that goes. It's going to be a pretty interesting run. And it's going to take a little while to go through these laps. 6 laps. I don't know if they're going to get 6 laps in. It might only be 5 because it's really tight on the time. It's 20 minutes. And they'd have to really cook to get 6 in. But we'll see what they do. See if they can make it. They got a timer and a lap count. So they get 20 minutes. And that 20 minutes, if you count it, if you break it down 4 minutes a lap, then that's 5 laps. So if they do get it in just ahead of that, they will nail the 6th lap and get that in. So we'll see how they do with that. Let's go back to Morgan sliding through Indianapolis. I don't think he's really happy with that handling of that car. Like I said, this 911 992 is a love it until you hate it car. As you can see, Kyle Robinson, the quickest lap time with a 3:55.9 in that new Porsche. So it can be done. He is out there throwing them down. So we'll see if Morgan can clip one. Emmett Lindquist has come across the line with a 3:58.5, followed by the number 2 car, Jason Ray, who did not get a time. There goes Brandon again. And Brandon improves to a 3:57.6, keeps himself in the second spot. And the 19 of Gray Welch comes across the line. No time for him. There's no time at this point to come out on the track and run a complete warm-up lap and a timed lap. The time will shut off at the end. So you've got basically one more timed lap to get your time in right now. Here comes Morgan across the line. Hopefully he was careful and was able to get that in there. He does with a 3:57.57, and that is going to put him up to P2, just a 1/10 of a second ahead of Brandon Dooley. Let's see what we got going on. Thanks for tuning in, you guys that are out here. I hid the chat window. That was nice of me. Didn't mean to. And hey, I'm not muted. So hey, I just checked. We're 10 minutes in and I'm not muted. That's awesome. So that is it. Kyle has got the pole. Morgan second. Provisional pole, of course. Brandon Dooley third. We've got quite a few drivers. The 317. That's 317. Brett Fay, he's coming up, crossing the line right now. 409.6 for him. He's a little bit back in the pack on that one. He does have time to get another lap in. See if he can do that. And Josh Bailing, 3:58.5. Is that an improvement? 616 just goes across. That still no time. Still no time. He does have enough time. That is Ryan Fry. Still does have enough time to get that one. Let's see if he can get a clean one in. All right. I don't have my phone. Try to keep on top of what's going on. Sorry about that. Talking to race control. Okay. Oh, I need to find my messages. I got somebody messaging me. Why are you messaging me? Will we see a change at the top? Morgan Teggy going around again. Oh, that's an outlap for Morgan. He will not go around again for that. Yes, we watch Mooney come through the Ford chicanes. or the Corvette curves, headed to the Ford chicanes. He's followed by Greg Prochnow. Now, Greg is normally in the Porsche, and Greg looks like he switched over to, oh no, Mooney's in the pits. He's coming in the pits. Greg has turned over to the BMW, so he's changed his car to the BMW. Coming across the line, trying to get a time. He's currently no time on the board for Greg. Comes across the start-finish line, and did you get one? He did. 3:59 moves him up to P6, right ahead of Mooney. So right now, Kyle Robinson, Brandon Dooley, Morgan Teggy, Josh Bailing, Emmett Lindquist, Greg Prochnow are your top 6. Then followed by Mooney, Sean Williams, Drew Schiller, Brett Fay. That's your top 10. And we still have a few drivers with no time out there. We've got 16 in the session. Hopefully we have 16 racing. I'm not sure where Dom ended up. Let's see. Jason Rabe, Gray Welsh, Dom Ford, Alex Good, Philip Scott, and Ryan Fry all still lacking a time. Here come a few of them by the line, across the line right now. That's Brett Fay, 407. He's improved. And the number 1 car, Josh Bailing, 358.5, 616. That's Ryan. Did he get a time? He did. 402 moves him up to P10. Tell you what, 402 is a tough time to hit. That is really a good time. Here comes Drew Schiller. He's got a 401 on the board. Let's see if he can improve that time as he comes across through the last final Ford chicane. Bounce to the right, bounce to the left, and then to the right again, and then to the left again, and then to the right again. Yeah, the chicane's coming up to the start-finish line. Crazy. He does improve. 401 flat. That beats out Sean Williams' time by 0.03 of a second. And that will move him up.
I almost got you, Josh.
Move him up into P8. As we watch Philip Scott, he has not yet set a time. See if he can get one here. He's got to be careful on the exit here. He's got an exit coming up here on the last corner of the Porsche curves, and if he misses that, he's not going to get his time. I don't know if he's got a clean lap so far, but I'm guessing with just a minute to go in the session, we're hoping he does.
Mic test.
Passes pit lane. Oh, did he come over too far? That may have hit that cone.
There, Mike.
He may have hit that cone. Bouncing off the curbs to the left, to the right. Comes across the start-finish line. Does he make a time? Does he get one? Yes. 3:58.2 drops him into 4th position. Good job there. And as we watch a couple more, here's Jason. Also still lacking a time. Coming through the Corvette corners now. See if he can get that. Ooh, bouncing off the Ford chicane. Tries to straighten it out. It's going to come across the line now. Does he have a time? Jason Rave across the line. Yes, puts him into P7 with 3:58.6. Now that's incredible because the 3:58.6 would have been the pole in the previous races that we just had. But here comes, let's see, Sean Williams. He's at a 401. Brandon Dooley comes across 55.942 for Brandon. His time expires right on the dot, and he missed it by 100ths of a second. So the pole position stays with Kyle Robinson. Now they're going to do this 5 or 6 lap sprint. They're lining up right now, and they're going to get this thing going. Let's see. Yep, here they go. We're starting them up. Let's see if I can get my. See if I have it right. Doesn't look like it. I need a car. I need a car. I need a car. Let's go to Kyle. Ooh, that one's tight. Let's try this one on the start. As we watch them line up, they have about 1.5 to 2 minutes to line up here. They don't get a lot of time. This is the sprint race. This is scheduled for 6 laps. We'll see.
All right, guys, welcome to the feature. Or not the feature, I'm sorry. The heat. Just remember, in the first couple turns, you can be on cold tires. Let's remember to respect each other, leave enough room. Get through those turns. It's a long track, long race. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, the smaller field actually makes the competition pretty intense and still gives everybody enough room that they're not, making one little slip and losing 8 positions. So we should have a really good race here. We're still missing, I don't know why, we're still missing Dom Ford. I'm not sure why he's not in the session. He was in the previous race. He actually won the previous race. And not sure why he's not in here, but we're also missing Gray Welch. But Gray did sometimes. There's Gray. Gray and Josh are back in. But Dom is missing the start here. I'm not really sure why. So we'll see what's going on. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. He popped in. He's ready to go. Let's go, Green. The lights are on. The flagman is ready. We are racing at Le Mans. Green. Green, green, green. And away they go. Good jump by Brandon. It looks like Brandon got a really good jump on Kyle. They're side by side going into the first corner. A little shuffling in the back, mid-pack. It looks to me like Brandon has the edge going into turn 1, and he is going to hold on to that. I got to see going through these Dunlop chicane, and look at that. Philip Scott jumps up to P3. Wow, what a move from Philip Scott there. That was a great jump that he had and got in front of Morgan Teggy in that new Porsche. Let's see. As we watch him come through the corners here. Everybody making it through so far. As our leader, Brandon Dooley, he was ahead. He was the fastest time in practice and only missed that pole by a few hundredths of a second, but Kyle Robinson had a really good run. Look at this. Here comes Morgan Teggy using the draft, making the pass on Philip Scott as they dive down into the first chicane. Who's got control and who doesn't as they come through. Second and third and fourth pack here. Coming through the corner. A little slowdown back there in the back. That might have been Dom. That's Mooney. Oh. Dom Ford stopped. He stopped the car. He got out of the car. Dom Ford has left the race. This battle here. Let's see. Drew Schiller just picked up a spot. Let's see. Battles side by side. Josh takes it away again as they enter into the corner. And that is the second chicane. Josh had the better line going in. Drew did have the spot. He's got to be able to hold it in the corner to take those away. Man, this is, so far we've got 3 little packs of cars running together here. We've got the lead group, we've got this middle group, and then we have a group in the back. So we're going to have 3 races to watch here tonight.
Car number 33 drive through contact with car number 6, lap 1.
I think he's
that car is disconnected.
Yeah, he's already left. Sean Williams was the recipient of that incident and is now in P15. Let's go up front into Indianapolis. Diving down into the corner, high speeds on the brakes, hard, going into this left-hander. Oh, it looks like Kyle had a little bit better run through there. We'll see if he can take advantage of that. The 2 Porsches running down this BMW, but man, Brandon with a great launch out of Arnage. That was an excellent corner. As these top 5, you could throw a blanket over them, and they're nose to tail. Top 6, nose to tail from Brandon, Kyle, Morgan, Phillip, Emmett, Jason, right there together. Emmett running that pink 911. Brandon in the very familiar purple, green, and gray DRS painted BMW. Followed by Kyle Robinson in second spot. I'm going to see if anything's going on in the field as I'll be bouncing it back and forth here. Trying to watch the action as I try to watch 3 races at once.
My bad.
Morgan Teggy in P3 doesn't look like he's got the pace to stay with these top 2. Looks like, unless there's mistakes made, as Morgan has dropped back, way back. probably got a slowdown. That does happen, and I think maybe Kyle did as well. Let's see if we can see what happened to the number 28 here. As he comes across the start-finish line, he's in second. He may have hit one of the curbs. He pulls over. That is indicative, as well as the 07, both of them, very indicative of needing to wait for a slowdown penalty. That one is what we call no fun. No fun. Back to live. We'll go back up to the front here as Brandon now 2-second lead as he lost touch now. Kyle Robinson, Philip Scott in second spot. The order is shuffled, but look at Kyle back in fourth already. Jason Ray battling here. This one here, as Morgan looks like he got by. Jason hanging tight as they go into the Daytona chicane. Who's going to get the best exit out of turn 11 here? Out of this turn? Looks like Jason may have that run. He's going to come battling back and see if he can get the draft. He's got a good run on Morgan, but Morgan must have really low downforce in that Porsche. And maybe Jason's going to try to stay right there with him and save a little bit of fuel, maybe? Maybe he's on the edge on his fuel load. You do have enough room in the tank to run this 6-lap run without having to pit. No change right now. Oh, scratch that. Gray Welch and Alex Good. That is Alex getting by Gray. Let's see if we can fix that. Is that just a straight up draft? Oh, what a great run. That's Alex getting a great run out of the first chicane. Coming right down here behind Gray, getting alongside into the brake zone here. He's got well into the position, pulls in front, hits the brakes down into turn 12. That's the second chicane, and he is going to go right on by, and that puts him up to 15. Let's see. We got Le Mans cameras. Oh, wow, look at those trees. That's cool. Good camera angle. As Brandon dives into Indianapolis one more time off the Gulf Straight. Coming off the corner. Much better time. Much better job that time. But look at this action back here as the 28 and the 07 have run down these guys, Philip and Emmett. And it looks like they want by. 3 Porsches right there in a row. Emmett Smith in the 40, the pink car. Kyle Robinson running in the black Porsche, and Morgan Teggy. Morgan Teggy, our current season champion from season 6, is running in that Porsche 911 992 just released car. And I'm not sure why I'm not getting numbers. I have that number thing fixed, and it still doesn't show me their numbers on the sides of the car. Oh wow, look at that run through Porsche curves there for Kyle Robinson as he's really coming up on the back end of Emmett Smith, or Emmett Lindquist here. Can he get him here on the front stretch? He's got to go through all these corners. It's going to be tight. These chicanes are not really the place to pass. Even though you might be able to get a run on somebody, there's no room here. There's absolutely zero space. As you can see, Morgan cut right up to the back of Kyle. Hopefully neither one got to slow down this time around as they go through with their laps. One thing I am noticing, you can check the fastest lap times on the top right of the screen, and you can notice that a lot of guys don't have one. That means they're having an issue with either an off-track or a slowdown. As Emmett Lindquist in the 40, he pulls ahead coming through Dunlop corners, and he is now really on a charge. He had a great run off that turn 3 complex there. That is the Dunlop chicane. And he goes through Tetra Rouge. He's right on the back, nearly on the back bumper. Philip Scott, that Mercedes that Philip's running there in P2 has some great horsepower. That big V8 drags those cars down the straights. They don't corner quite as well, but man, they've got some really good straightaway speed. So if Emmett can get in here, it's full-on draft power here. And Emmett is looking like he's close enough. And he goes to the inside, or to the outside, as Morgan and Josh are fighting here as well. Emmett takes the spot, and that's for P2 on the racetrack now. Can Kyle do the same? Wow, that's incredible. Those Porsches must really be trimmed out, as Josh and Morgan also battling right behind these guys. You can see them also just nose to tail. Who's got the draft? Who's got the better downforce? Who's got the less downforce, I should say, to be able to run down these straightaways? It looks like these guys are going to stay in line. How about these guys? Are they going to? Yes, they are for now. As Kyle Robinson looks like he may be lining up Philip Scott. I don't know if he's going to have it, but Philip coming right back on Emmett Lindquist. That's a great run through the Mulsanne kink. Can he get him down the corner here? Philip Scott in the 99 trying to get that spot back. That's for P2. And right now, Emmett Lindquist holds it. Philip Scott wants it. All three cars go through cleanly through the Mulsanne corner there. And now coming down the Gulf Straight on their way back down through to Indianapolis. Gray Welch in the pit lane. Gray Welch in the pit lane. This battle for second, very, very close here. Not enough draft. He does not have enough as they go down into Indianapolis. I don't think Philip's got the ability here, and I don't think Philip's got the cornering capability as he goes wide. Looks like to me that Kyle Robinson's going to take that spot away, and he does. Kyle moves up to third and puts Philip back another position. Philip's not happy about that when he went just a little bit wide, and that's all it takes. In Indianapolis, he hit the dirt, had to let off, and that was it. Kyle goes by. And now Kyle back up to P3 from his great start on the pole. As we go back to this battle for P5, Morgan Teggy and Josh Balin just all over each other here. I think they like each other. Hanging out so close together. Morgan managed to hold off a really, really good run on the draft. Oh, and he's a little wide there. Was that the slowdown? Did he go too wide? That spot right there on the edge of the Porsche curves, that is a really, really bad place to go wide. You get a slowdown there, and it's about a 2-second slowdown. We'll see when he crosses the start-finish line. You'll know right away if he has that slowdown, because he'll pull right over and have to move and let off the gas. And you can see that's the 99 car doing exactly that as Philip Scott drops back behind Morgan. But look at that, he drops right in front of Josh, and that's going to be for P6 or P5. And Josh, again, doesn't have that spot that he wants. Philip Scott dropped himself right in there after his slowdown. He got back up to speed, got the slowdown peeled off. I wish I could show you the slowdown. You go across the corner, you cut it in too tight, and you get a slowdown penalty. Most of these on this racetrack, 1 to 2 seconds in that range. Some of them 0.9 maybe, but right in that range. So you get that slowdown, you have to kind of let off the gas for that long. So if you have a 1.2 second slowdown, you kind of have to let off the gas for a second, a little more than a second, while everybody else is going full tilt. So you'll really lose spots doing that. And the slowdowns are tough here. You try to cut a corner, and you win. You get a slowdown. You cut a corner, you get a slowdown. You cut a corner, you get a slowdown. Everybody gets a slowdown. So Morgan going wide here and dropping into the first chicane, holding on to that P4 position. Hard fought battle to get that spot back. After a slowdown early, loses the spot. And it looks like Kyle is going to make a run here on Emmett. He's going to try to get that P2 away. We go on board with Kyle Robinson coming down the Mulsanne Straight. They're right in the middle of the straight. They're coming down into the second chicane, and it's a late braking curve. They brake late, go in, and this is like third gear going in, second gear going out. Really, really tight corner. They go out wide on the exit. And here he goes again. Does he have enough to catch him? This spot right here, the Mulsanne kink, is rarely the spot to pass. As Michael Mooney just makes a pass. I don't know how that took so long to register, but let's see if we can go back and see if we can see what happened here. No, he's way ahead of him. I don't know what happened there. I don't know why that just flipped. But Mooney has got ahead of Alex Good. That's for 9th position. As we watch Brandon go by, Emmett Lindquist in 2nd. And these guys are diving down into Indianapolis now, down the Gulf Straight. This is a decent place to get a pass, but you have to pass completely. You have to get all the way by the other car as you enter into Indianapolis. If you don't, the guy, whoever's got that inside line on the second half of the corner is going to get it. Because there's no way you can go around the outside of this part right here and hold that corner with speed. So it looks to me like Kyle's a little quicker, but Emmett is quick enough to hold on to that spot and not let him by. We'll see what happens as they come up here. As they approach the Porsche curves here with the Porsche in 2nd and a Porsche in 3rd, side by side. Greg Prochnow has dropped into the pit lane as Gray Welch leaves the pit lane after his tow. And towing takes about 4 or 5 minutes here. It's brutal if you have to get on the hook. It takes a long time to get back. So, appreciate everybody tuning in here to the race. This is East to West Racing, and we are sponsored by Stair Fittings Incorporated. Stair Fittings Inc. Oh, and that might be a slowdown. He wiggled just enough. And that is Kyle Robinson going by for 2nd position. He's going to have to try to get him here through the Ford chicane under hard braking as he dives down in the inside. He also cuts across that corner pretty tight. But I believe Emmett hit a slowdown on the exit of the Porsche curves. We'll see if he pulls over and has to bleed that off. You'll know. Maybe not. Maybe he got back in time. But either way, Kyle Robinson, great move on the exit of the Porsche curves to get by. As I was saying, Stair Fittings Incorporated, primary sponsor here for Bigg Wizurd TV. Appreciate you guys tuning in, watching us here. tv.bigwizurd.com is our website. That takes you over to our YouTube page. We have our channel here. We have tons of racing for you. We've been going on for about 3 years now with racing from multiple series, multiple leagues. East to West Racing is the last standing league that we're doing recordings for. Sunday nights, Thursday nights, we're doing racing here every week for you, live on Sunday nights with the GT3 Challenge. Also sponsors for East to West Racing, JNR Craftworks. JNR Craftworks is the maker of some wonderfully beautiful workmanship. As we watch Morgan Teggy also challenge Emmett Smith. We're going into this first chicane. Morgan has the preferred spot here. He's going to have the inside going in the chicane, and Emmett can't hold him off, and that is P3 for Morgan Teggy. Grandpa'sKitchen.com is one of our main sponsors here for East to West Racing. Grandpa's Kitchen, makers of gluten-free flour. You can check them out, Grandpa'sKitchen.com. They have lots of recipes and lots of things on their website. You can purchase flour. It is a 1-to-1 replacement flour for regular flour, and it is good stuff. I've had it. I've eaten pretty much anything you can bake. But if you're missing out on baked goods because you are gluten-free, this is it. You can have cookies, you can have cakes, you can have cupcakes, you can have brownies, everything. I've had them all, and I'll tell you what, the Grandpa's Kitchen flour tastes just great. You cannot tell the difference. It's a perfect substitute. As we watch this battle for P3, Emmett Lindquist not relinquishing this P3 spot easily. He's right on Morgan's bumper, and he is being chased now by Philip Scott, Josh Bailey, and Jason Rabe. These guys all 5 right together on the This is our tightest battle out front. Brandon Dooley, as he's way out in front now with a 6-second gap over Kyle Robinson. We'll see if Kyle can close that up. We're on lap 5, and I think we still have enough time to make all 6 laps in the 20-minute time block. I think they've gone quick enough with these 356s that we're going to get all 6 laps in. There's Kyle right there in the background. You can see him. He's in P2 in the 28 car. Morgan up to P3. followed by the number 40 of Emmett Lindquist, 99. Philip Scott and Josh Bailing in the number 1, followed by his teammate Jason Rave in the number 2. Both those guys in the Audis. 27. That's Drew. He's in the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo, and he is running in P8. Kind of by himself. He's got an 11-second gap in front and an 11-second gap behind. So, you know, he's kind of running by himself. Oh, and we've had a mix-up. We've had a mix-up up front. Philip Scott in the 99. Something's going on with Philip Scott. Let's see if we can catch that. He's coming around through Porsche curves here. What happens? Oh! Morgan Teggy. Morgan Teggy goes wide. Morgan loses it. Watching the wrong car here. Morgan just loses it in Porsche curves. This is such a treacherous part. Super high speed. He comes around and he does save it. That puts the 99 back behind the two Audis that take advantage and move up. Morgan taking back. And 7 drops back behind these 4 guys. He was out in front of him and now they're all behind him. Is he going again? He is moving again. He is crabbing. But he's going to stay out. There's only 1 lap left. So he's going to stay out and see if he can get one more lap in with the broken car. And he's got to stay ahead of Drew Schiller, who we were just talking about, in P8, who is now no longer 11 seconds behind P7. He's only 5 seconds back, and he has a chance at catching up. 88, that's Michael Mooney. He is in P9, and he's just outside that transfer spot. Number 8, or position 8, Drew Schiller, is the one that will get the front row, because we're going to invert the top 8 at the end of this race. Now, it's possible that with the damage on the 07, if Morgan cannot continue at speed, that if Mooney can also get by him, then Mooney will have the pole, because that would be the 8th position. Alex Good running in the 10th spot. Ryan Fry in the 616 in P11. Brett Fay in the 317. He's coming through the Dunlop chicane right now. Nice big Dunlop logo and the Dunlop wheel there. That's the Dunlop Bridge at Le Mans. Very famous. Turn 3. And Sean Williams in the number 6. He was involved in an incident early on. Still cruising. Trying to get himself finished on the race. And Gray Welch in the 19. Also still running. I don't know if Greg Prochnow has dropped out. He has dropped out of the server. It's too bad that these guys drop out. You know, you have a rough run, you have a bad race, you have, you know, a bad sprint. But you know, you keep pushing, and then there's a whole nother race coming. This is a six lapper, and there's another race yet to come. So you know, you don't know where you're going to end up with the feature race. You may end up 6th or 7th, maybe even 10th or 12th. But you might have a really good run. There might be an incident where you have somebody like Morgan Teggy spin out in Porsche curves, which you know you just don't expect to have happen, and that might move you up. You know, move you up in the race and let you be up there with the top guys. I had that opportunity in the sprint race earlier today in the GT3 Contender Series, sponsored by JNR Craftworks. I was 3rd on the start. Had a fairly decent start, but the top 2 guys got together going through the Dunlop curves as we see Emmett hold on to that spot as Emmett and Josh have seemingly pulled away. No, that's Emmett. Yeah, that is. Oh, is he wide? Is he wide? Oh, he comes around. Oh, and he tags his teammate as well. He's got to get that thing back going around again. That is going to shuffle up the order. Let's see if we can see what happened there. A better camera angle on that. That one was a little too tight. He's going for the pass. He's on the inside. As they're going into these. That was Indianapolis down here. Right on the brakes. Oh, he gets over that rumble strip and turns wide. His teammate hits him. The 99 goes around in front of him. That swaps the order. The 99 has now moved into P4 as they come across the line. Brandon Dooley with the victory. Kyle Robinson, Emmett Lindquist, Philip Scott taking advantage of that error in Arnage. Takes P4. Jason Rabe, P5. Josh Bailing, P6. Morgan Teggy in 7th. Drew Schiller holds on for 8th, followed by Michael Mooney. Alex Good in the 79 comes across in 10th position. Oh, there he is. There he is. Ryan Fry still out there on the racetrack. He's right there. You can see him coming around, followed by our buddy Brett Fay in the 317 Porsche 911. Kudos to him for giving that a shot, for giving that a try, going out there and running in that 911. He is Emmett Lindquist's teammate, and he's out there giving it a whirl and giving that a shot. That is a tough car to drive, and good for him for being out there and throwing it down. We are going to have a little bit of a time, a little bit of a gap. Not only do we have the 3-minute, delay, but we also have this driver here, Gray Welch, still out on the racetrack, still cranking out the lap. He is down into the Mulsanne corner now, and he's still out there putting in the lap times, doing the best he can. So we'll watch this one finish up as we watch Gray finish up his lap. Everybody else pretty much finished off the racetrack. Mooney's still out there tooling around, going through the Daytona chicane right now. But we're watching Gray finish up his lap, and he is in P14. As Greg Prochnow, Dom Ford have dropped out of the race. 15th and 16th have dropped off. We have just 14 cars left for the feature unless one of those guys comes back. And if they do, they'll be starting at the back of the pack. So this will switch up quickly at the end of the race here. As soon as Gray comes across the line, the timer will flip and run out, and we will go to a 3-minute warm-up, and they will line up at that point to get into the feature. Great race there for the sprint. That's going to put Drew Schiller and Morgan Teggy on the front row, followed by Josh and Jason. Then Philip and Emmett on row 3, Kyle and Brandon row 4. That'll be followed by Michael Mooney and Alex Good on row 5, with Ryan Fry, Brett Fay on row 6. Sean Williams and Gray Welch will round out the field on row 7 with the 14 cars. As Gray Welch coming through the final chicanes now, through Corvette curves in the Ford chicane. And he comes across the start-finish line for his final corner. Yeah, he's thinking, yeah, you guys all had to watch me make that mistake as I come across Ford chicane. That is it. The race is done. The time is up, and we are in the warm-up. There it is. The clock has flipped, and away we go. And we'll see if anybody takes advantage. It's only a 3-minute warm-up. This is pretty much so the drivers have a minute or two to get up and stretch their legs a little bit, maybe shake some circulation into their body a little bit from sitting. But as I say that, the drivers are on the racetrack. Morgan Teggy, Kyle Robinson, Michael Mooney, Brett Fay are in their cars and going out for the half a lap warm-up session. I guess when you're a race car driver, you just can't get enough of the race. You just have to be there. You have to be in the car. So here they are. They're out on the racetrack now. As they are... Well, I guess Morgan is. Maybe Morgan's trying to see if he can figure out what setup to change, what he needs to do so he does not make that same mistake as he did coming through the Porsche curves last time. Brought him from P4? Took him from P3 or 4 back to P7. With the very tight racing that group was done. That group was all right together. And no bueno there as he dropped back in the field. What that is going to do for him, though, is going to let him start on the front row. So maybe he'll be happy with that. He might be making an adjustment here to the car. See if he can get a little more control off of that on corner exit. Especially in those high-speed Porsche corners, Porsche curves. Track temp pretty much stayed pretty constant here. It is noontime. It was noontime, 9 o'clock in the afternoon, local time on the racetrack. Maybe I think they started at noon with practice, so that puts it right about noon or what? 2 o'clock now. And as Morgan's going to run out of time here in about 45 seconds, he is the only one actually out on the racetrack during the warm-up. As you can see, the name change on the car, top bar of the screen, Porsche 911 GT3R 992. That is the new car, the new 992, released just this last week. So, let's see if it's out there yet. You know, it's funny because you run a 24-hour race, and the results of the race are always like, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to mess with the results because everybody's exhausted. You've been up for 24 hours. You've been working your butt off for 24 hours. And now somebody wants to know, hey, who finished where? The Ferrari, number 51, won the 24 Hours Le Mans this morning, 8 o'clock. Local time, or 8 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock Eastern time. They came across the start-finish line. Toyota Gazoo Racing, the number 8 car, finished in second, and on the podium with them, the number 2 Cadillac from Chip Ganassi Racing. LMP2 was won by Inter-Europol competition. Let's see if we can get the grid going here. As the green lights are going to get ready to go here, guys are getting ready to grid up. The number 34 Inter-Europol. Now that's the Inter-Europol GT3 team has a former racer here from us, one of the last man standing drivers. That is Bryson Morris. He was in that race. So it looks like we're lined up, ready to go. Everybody's here. The lights are going. The lights are red now. And now the lights are green. That was a long one. Lights go green. The tires go off. The smoke spins. Morgan with a great jump. Drew does not get a great jump. Josh Bailing right behind. Whoa! And the 99 cuts across the nose of Jason Rabe. And that could have been problems there. As Morgan got the jump, Morgan is out front. Followed by, are we all going to make it through? Are we all going to get through this one? Side by side here in the back, Sean Williams, and that's Ryan Fry. Will they make it through clean? They look like they do. As this battle up front continues, that was Morgan Teggy out in the front. Josh Bailing takes second spot. Jason Rabe third. And he gets by the 99 as they were coming up through the chicane. And here goes another one. That looks like Kyle Robinson in the 28 car. He looks like he's after Schiller's position. And Drew starting on the front row. He's going to have the 2 fastest cars from qualifying right on his tail as he comes down into the first chicane. Who's going to make the move? It looks like Kyle Robinson is on the inside. Does he have enough room? Whoa, that's tight. Right together. Kyle may have had a little bump there. And Brandon Dooley gets by for the position. Brandon moves up to P7, and now they go down the second long straightaway. You can see they're all right together. I love this on the first lap. They're just running in a line. Morgan Teggy out front. Josh, Jason, Emmett, Phillip, Drew in the 27, followed by Brandon, Kyle, Moon. Oh, and Brandon dives down to the inside of Drew. Trying to get that spot away, but does not dive it in too deep. He's going to just give it a minute here, and he's got a good run coming off that second chicane. Brandon may be able to finish this off here as they go down into the Mulsanne corner. Wow, the action is tight. Everybody's right together this time. No help from the draft as Brandon may have a good line here. Oh, and he does. He goes down inside and he takes the corner away. And a clean pass there by Brandon Dooley on Drew Schiller, but Drew not giving up. He's going to hold it down and take that Ferrari right down that straightaway. That is the Gulf straightaway, and he does hold on with the outside corner. Better exit and takes the corner away. Takes the spot back from Brandon Dooley, one of the fastest guys out there, and our sprint race winner. You can see Brandon looking for anywhere at all to get by, and he just can't find anywhere. Great positioning of the car for the 27. Drew Schiller, can he hold on down here through Indianapolis? Drew just a touch wide. Oh, and the 79 in the wall. That's the 79 going wide. Let's see what's going on with the 79. He just loses it by the looks of it. Let's see if anything happens and he gets any help. He's coming down into Indianapolis on the brakes. He just gets loose coming into the first half. Hits the wall, misses Mooney, luckily, and goes to the back. Still have this battle. Drew, oh, and that's Arnage, and Drew taking the outside, got that good run on the exit again, but Brandon's holding on door to door here as they're coming up into the Porsche curves now. Drew holds on. Let's go back to live action. Oh, Sean Williams having trouble in the back. Ooh, lots of trouble for Sean as he comes into the Porsche curves and doesn't hold on with the Porsche. Gets by but touches the grass and just about takes out the 616. Let's see if he can get back to this battle. As everybody, it seems like everybody, and maybe their dog too, gets by as the 27 goes to the pits. Nope, not sure what happened. He went back too far. Here he goes through Porsche curves. Why did they switch over? Get back to the car I told you to look at. He's going through the Porsche curves here. Oh, and he goes, oh, that's too wide. That's a slowdown. That's what happened. He lets those two guys by. He's going to let Mooney down, trying to bleed off that slowdown. And that's what put Brett Schiller back behind Mooney. That puts him back to P9. So Brandon moves up to 6th. Morgan Teggy still out front. These guys still right behind. It looks to me like Emmett is going to try to make a pass here, coming down into the first chicane. Jason's giving him about 1.5 inches as they go in there. Who's going to break first? Oh, Emmett breaks first. Jason makes the corner with the late break and holds on to the position. Let's see if Emmett gets a good run and tries that again. It looks like he does. That's a great run off of this first chicane exit. And he might be able to get a spot here as he goes down into this next chicane. He's pulling alongside early this time. He's got a long way to go down into that second chicane. Does he have enough? He's alongside. He's got the better spot on the entrance of the chicane, but not necessarily in the exit of the chicane. I'll tell you what, I was following some of those guys in those Audis. They're so late on the brakes going into that second chicane, I couldn't stay with them. But it looks like Emmett figured it out, made it by. Emmett takes over that position. Good job. And he is now up to P3 with Josh Bailing in the front and Jason Rabe very much in the rearview mirror. Cars are slippery. There's not a lot of draft. There's a little bit, but there's not a lot of draft. These aren't like the big, wide-bodied NASCARs. These are very aerodynamic, downforce cars, and the GT3 can be pretty slippery when you set up for low downforce. There's our leader, Morgan Teggy, followed by Josh Bailey. Emmett Lincoln and Jason Rabe are your top 4. Philip Scott just a couple seconds back there in that blue Mercedes. That's your top 5. Brandon and Kyle were the quickest guys in the race by a couple seconds. I'm not sure they're going to be quick enough to be able to catch these guys. We'll see over time. It is an 11-lap race. I think they have enough time to run all 11. We'll see. 40, at least 10 of them. I hope they can get all 11 of them in. No one has the fastest lap yet. The first laps were the first laps will be the very first lap of the race when they started from a standing start. So that lap's not going to get him a fastest lap, which is why there are no times on the top right as of yet. I guess he failed you on who won the race earlier. Didn't fail, he just ran out of time. Ran out of time and ran into action. As the battles on the racetrack are continuing, we've got Kyle Robinson right behind Brandon Dooley. There's Brandon. Starting up front with Morgan. And then the trio. We call it the 911 sandwich. You got an Audi on the outside, or Audi on the front, with a 911 in the middle and another Audi behind. That's the pink 911 sandwich of Emmett Lindquist here with the two Audi teammates. Running second, third, and fourth. Fifth place, the 99 Philip Scott. And it looks like Brandon Dooley is closing that gap down to 1.1 seconds now. There's Brandon coming through Dunlop Corner, trying to make ground on Philip Scott. Philip's in that Mercedes, Brandon in the BMW. All the cars very, very even. As you can see, the Porsches, Audis, Mercedes, BMWs, everybody running really close to the same lap times. As they're coming around, that time was much cleaner. All top 9 got lap times. 357 for the quick guys, 358 for the ones behind. Brandon Dooley with the quickest lap of the race. 357 won. 0.6 of a second faster than the leader. So he is really cooking out there, and he's going to try to catch up. As Emmett Lindquist and Josh battling, and that was a pass for position down into the second, the first chicane. Oh, and Emmett just outbreaks him on the inside of that and takes over the spot. Will he be able to hang on? Will Josh? Josh might just come right back at him on this one. This is the Mulsanne swap, shall we call it. The first and second chicane, you can get a really good run coming off these corners. And the draft, even though it's not much, it is enough to get a run. But not this time. Emmett holds on to the position. Emmett has now passed both of the Audis. And GT3R 992. But, oh man, what a great run off of the second chicane. Josh Bailey gets right on the bumper. Does he have enough of the pull to get ahead into Mulsanne corner? It does not look like it. As Josh stays in P3. His teammate Jason right behind in P4. The gap between Brandon and Morgan is now at feet. Meters, mere tenths of a second. As Brandon running these quick laps out here has caught up with the 5th place Philip Scott in that Mercedes. Brandon running in the BMW, the highest ranked BMW in the race at the moment. You might get some say that some cars are faster than others, but I'll tell you what, that Porsche is such a handful to drive. You watched one of our previous champion, one of the greatest racers that we have in the league, spin in Porsche corners the last time during the sprint racing, and that is a rarity. So having that happen shows you that this car might be quick, but it is a handful. Just a note, Ryan Fry has moved, I believe. Nope, not yet. That's just Mooney's car bouncing in and out, moving the cars around. So Ryan Fry's still trying to chase down Drew Schiller. He's got an 8-second gap there he's got to make up. Ryan running no time on the first lap. He's got Gray Welch behind. Gray Welch ran a 4:04 on the last lap. The more time these guys put down, the more time you spend in the simulator, the better it seems it gets. Quicker and quicker. There is a limit, though. There is a limit where you won't get any faster. The car just, you hit the car's maximum. And what it looks like to me is it looks like it's right around a 3:56.8. Kyle Robinson just clicked off the fastest lap of the race. 3:56.8. As they go down through Dunlop chicane. Thanks, Mooney, for the shout out. I'm not sure how he's doing that while he's racing. Unfortunately, Mooney, I didn't get your paint job fixed. I don't know why it didn't fix. I reloaded a couple times. Trading Paints just didn't want to help me out. So we're going down this straightaway. I'm thinking this might be the chance. Here comes Brandon Dooley. He's been hounding, and he's coming in tight. He's got the position running into the first chicane, and he has really got the position. He had a great run there. Pulls ahead by nearly half a second as they enter that first chicane. And Brandon taking no prisoners here as he's going through and now moving his way towards the front. Kyle Robinson with that fastest lap of the race, almost a full second, just over a full second faster than Philip last time around. He should be able to do similar. As you can see, that's Morgan Teggy, our leader, followed by Emmett, Josh, and Jason, the teammates, nose to tail, followed by Brandon, Philip, and Kyle with Mooney there in the back. Morgan pulls out to a 3.5 second on the number 40. Let's see how the speed cam looks. We'll get some cool pictures here. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Some good camera angles on the stream today. We got some high angles out there for you. Morgan pulling away here, 3.5 seconds, the gap. Running flawless here in the feature. Had a little bobble there in the sprint, but looks like he's definitely got a handle on it now. But we're only 4 laps in, and he had his error on lap 5, I believe it was, over last time. These guys are pushing right to the very edge. I mean, 357.1, 357.2. These guys are right on the ragged edge of control. They will have to make a pit stop here, so that is also going to play a factor in this race. Josh and Jason right next to each other, and Brandon looks like he's closing that gap. Brandon now showing just 1 second behind Jason Raid. Now that looks like he's brought Philip Scott with him. Philip was a little bit behind these guys, but now that Brandon has gone through, Philip's staying right with him. It might be a really good draft he was following there. Through the field, Brandon trying to get back up in the front. It's lap 4, finishing up lap 4 of 11. They've got 7 to go this time by. Shout out to our sponsor, JNR Craftworks. They make a bunch of craft stuff, and it's awesome stuff. They make decorations. They make trophies for our league. He does hats and t-shirts, or I don't know if he does hats, he does t-shirts. But great products, just a lot of fun. A lot of good stuff out there. JNRCraftworks.com, check them out. Christmas ornaments, gifts, decorations, all kinds of good stuff. Looks like Porsche Corners was better for Kyle Robinson than it was for Philip Scott. Now right on the tail. This might be a chance for a double pass. Kyle's got the better chance. So coming down this first straightaway, the cars are all so close together. Does Brandon have enough to get by Jason? There goes Kyle. And there goes Brandon. I don't know if Brandon's got enough. Jason's going to hold him off there. But the 28 is going to get by the 99. That puts Kyle Robinson up to P6. We'll watch and see. Ooh, a little wide on the exit though. We'll watch and see if Brandon has enough this time. Now, what's really tough is that Brandon has a draft on the number 2, Jason Ray, but Jason has a draft on his teammate, Josh Bailey. So does Brandon have enough to make that pass? That's the answer. With the 99, oh, there he's peeking in there a little bit, but nothing doing. Under the braking, a little hard on the brakes, trying to do a late braking move, but does not get it. Does not get it. We'll have to wait until another opportunity. He has a good exit. This is not usually a good passing zone right here as they dive down into the Mustang corner. I've seen people do it around the outside before with a late brake on the outside, but it's a tough ask. Looks like Brandon might, he's looking at it. Doesn't look like he's going to do it. He's just showing him the headlights there, so Jason knows he's there. There's your leader, Morgan Teggy, followed by Emmett Lindquist, Josh Bailing, Jason Raid trying to hold off Brandon Dooley. Kyle Robinson with Philip Scott right behind. We'll see if he has that same good move through the Porsche corners coming up here as they're now approaching Indianapolis. Let's see who's got the better angle here. This is one of those corners that if you make a mistake, you lose a bunch of time here on the exit. Everybody runs through there pretty clean. Looks like everybody's doing just what they're supposed to be doing and staying right together in line. Now, I had a lot of problem with that rumble strip on the Ferrari I was driving. Brandon chooses to go around the outside of it. That's a really good idea. I was staying tight on it. On the inside, if you run over that rumble strip, it upsets the balance of the car. It messes it up. But this right here, as we're still on lap 5, we haven't quite made it to halfway yet. This battle right here for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, this is actually going to change the outcome of this race. This battle will be a deciding factor because if Brandon and Kyle can't get around these two quickly, and Brandon just about runs into the back of Jason. If they can't get around these guys fairly quickly, they're never going to be able to catch those two leaders. As Morgan's starting to pull away, 3.5 seconds, and then another 3 seconds from Emmett back to Josh. Josh trying to hold off his teammate. And I think that is by design, the two of them working together to keep Brandon behind him. Kyle Robinson still with that fastest lap with 1:30. Oh, excuse me. Morgan Teggy with the fastest lap with 3:56.3. The times are tumbling as these guys are bleeding off that fuel. We'll see what happens when they do the fuel stops. Maybe Brandon will come in a lap sooner than these other guys. I'm not sure with a 4-minute lap, 8.5 miles around, will he have the chance to come in early and try to do an undercut, try to get that speed when he comes out of the pits where he doesn't have to pass these guys on the racetrack? I don't know. But right now, Jason has lost the tail of Josh. Maybe without the help, maybe Brandon has the advantage coming off here as they go through Tetra Rouge, and they're going to jump back onto the Mustang straight. And Brandon is right on him, just 1/10 of a second off of the tail of Jason Ray, but he is definitely going to try here to get by as they're going down. It looks like he's got that draft. He's got a good run. Does Jason have enough of a draft with his teammate right in front of him to help him pull him along? We'll see. Josh staying right in the middle, not really helping his teammate there. As they come into the brake zone, who is going to brake first? Who is going to have the corner? They're going to come in side by side. Oh, and Jason cuts it off and tries to hold on and does so far, and Brandon just has to stay behind. Better to pass another day than lose the spot, lose the car altogether. We'll see if he does it again as they're coming down into the second chicane here. Brandon just right on his tail. He's going to try to get them outside, but he doesn't want to give it up. Jason not wanting to give up the preferred spot. Brandon making him work for it. You can see Brandon's got a little bit better cornering speed through there, as well as the 911 of Kyle Robinson, who is now caught back. Brandon trying everything he can to get by. So far, unsuccessful as they drop down into the Mustang corner. Meanwhile, back at the front, Morgan Teggy up to nearly 5 seconds the gap, and then Emmett 3.5 back. putting Josh Bailing 8.5 seconds off the lead. And he is the one with the, I'd say, cork in the bottle, so to speak. With him, Jason, and Kyle all right together. I'm not sure he's much of a cork in the bottle because nobody can get by him. Brandon can get alongside, but cannot complete the pass down the same straight. The cornering and the positioning of the cars has been just perfect by these guys in the Audis. Not letting the BMW Brandon Dooley by as they go through Indianapolis. One more time. Lap 6 of 11. We're about halfway here as we go through Arnage. Brandon tries to get that run. Looks like Jason might have a good run on his teammate. That's Jason and Josh side by side here. He's not going to do too much, but that might make room for Brandon to sneak in on that draft behind Josh, but it doesn't work as these guys now going to those curves. I really think this is where one of the advantages are of that BMW. It's really good for these Porsche curves. He doesn't have anywhere to go to take advantage of the better handling that he has through those corners. I think what we've got here is we've got the two Audis trimmed out as thin as they can go, with probably 0 or 1 degree and so quick runs down those long straights. And here comes everybody to the pit lane. I guess the pit time window is now because here they all come. Lap 6 of 11, the end of lap 6. They click off lap 7 as Morgan crosses start finish line from the pit lane. Who's going to have the advantage? This is going to be great. Who's going to have the advantage coming in and out of these pit boxes? Does somebody have a little bit better strategy? Can they put just a touch less fuel in their car and still make it and make the difference? Can they, maybe somebody overruns their pit box and has to back it up? Looks like everybody got in clean. We'll see who gets out. They can go through each other while they're in the pit lane, but then they have to line up on the exit and get back out on the racetrack. Morgan's out first. Oh, and Kyle Robinson gets the jump. Emmett Lindquist in third. And then Brandon Dooley, they leapfrog the Audis as the Audis go to the back of that pile. Morgan Teggy, Kyle Robinson with a great pit stop. Emmett Lindquist drops back to third. Brandon Dooley back into fourth position. Josh Bailing, Philip Scott, Jason Rabe are your exiting top 7 out of the pit lane, and that was fantastic. Morgan, 4.5 seconds. Kyle Robinson, probably a little quicker today, but overall a little quicker. But Morgan may have figured the car out. Now with the quickest lap, and by far the quickest lap over the rest of the field, other than Kyle and Brandon. Everybody else in the 357, 358 range. Morgan, Kyle, and Brandon in the 356s. So Brandon came out behind Emmett. Emmett is trying his best to hold him off on that long straightaway into chicane number 1. Brandon going to try to line him up here as they come out of chicane 1 and see if he can get a good run. Brandon does look like he got a good jump off of that corner. Does he have enough to get by? And will Emmett be as tough to pass as those Audis were? As that pit stop leapfrog was perfectly done, perfectly executed by Kyle Robinson and Brandon Dooley to get by the other cars. Now, whether or not they needed to go little less fuel, did they go? The only way to get out quicker than somebody else is to put less fuel in your car. So maybe the Audi has a little bit bigger gas tank, has to sit there just a little bit longer to get the fuel. Brandon alongside as they go through the Mulsanne kink. They're going to be coming down into Mulsanne corner, and this is going to be interesting because this is not an easy place to pass. Brandon on the outside here. He's going to have to late break him to get him. They make a little bit of contact going into the corner. Brandon around the outside. Emmett, no, holds on the inside. Brandon does have the better line on the exit there and does make the pass. What a great move. Lined him up and took him out. Brandon, up to 3. The Audi boys are probably not real happy. dropped 3 positions. He dropped 3, the other guy. Jason dropped 3, Josh dropped 2. It's Philip Scott lines up in the middle of it. Everybody else still pretty much in line behind these guys. We've got Michael Mooney in the 88 car. He is running in the 8th position, followed by Drew Schiller in P9. Ryan Fry in the 616 BMW. He's in 10th position, followed by Gray Welch in the number 19 BMW. Brett Fay in the 317. Alex Wood in the number 79. Familiar Mercedes new paint job for Alex. Sean Williams in the number 6 Porsche. Rounding out the field, P14. Sean, a little incident earlier to get some repairs done. Trying to stay with him. He is right now just trying to catch up with Alex Good. The pack is still tight. Did Philip get a run? Did Philip get a run coming off the start-finish line straight? Looks like he has. We'll see if Josh can hold him off. Josh diving in late into Dunlop curves. Through the Dunlop chicane and does not get the spot back, but he is close. And that lets Jason catch up real close as well. These guys are still nose to tail, still doing everything they can to keep up in their quickest times. 3:58.0, both of them within just a few hundredths of a second of each other, as these guys are trying everything they can to catch up with these lead pack. Was the Audi not quite fast enough? Did the fuel load and the fuel burn on the V8 Audi or V10 Audi slow them down a little bit? Needing more fuel at the pit stop? All questions that we don't have answers to. But I can tell you that Josh is going to try to get that spot back. Going around the outside, Jason in tow. Oh, they both get by the 99. Wow. Double pass. These guys are like one car. It's like they're one car. But look at this. Look at Philip Scott with a great run off of the first chicane. Off of the Daytona chicane, and he is catching up. He's trying to do it again, trying to get by. But as we saw earlier, those Audis are slippery down the straightaway. Really, really hard to catch these guys. And Brandon has got by Emmett Lindquist. Let's see if we can catch that one. No, he did it too long ago. A long time ago, Brandon got by. So we'll just call that one good. Brandon got by Emmett Lindquist. That's for P3. Now it's Morgan, Kyle, and Brandon up in the front. Kyle not really letting him go there. He kind of closed that gap. He had quite a gap there. But Morgan still out to a 4-second lead over Kyle Robinson last time around. Let's see what the times were last time around. Morgan with a 37.3. Kyle with the 30.6. That's not possible. We've got some times up there with no fast laps. So we've got some 34s and some 30, a 4-minute or a 3-minute 30, which is not quite possible. I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, that was during their pit stop. During the pit. So we're going to have to wait till the end of this lap before our time's up. So the pit times were messing me up there. Because it's 4:30, 4:37, 4:34, which is how Kyle got up in front. His pit stop was 7 seconds faster than the guys in front of him. Did that leapfrog through the pits. That was 4 minutes and 37 seconds, not 3 minutes and 37 seconds. Because 3:37 would be about the time for an LMDH prototype car, and not these guys in the GT3s. So, real Le Mans. Let's go back to that real quick. The cars are changing. This is the third year for the LMDH, but it's only the first year for the hypercar class to have 16 cars in it. And the majority of them are the LMDH, but there are just a few of them that are just LMDs. Do not have the hybrid attached. That'd be the Glickenhaus. And the Glickenhaus guys actually finished well. They finished one of their cars in P6 overall. So that was a really good run for them. That is a normally aspirated engine in the Glickenhaus and running 24 hours, finishing in P6 behind the Ferrari, the Toyota, the 2 Cadillacs, and the second Ferrari. We rounded out the top 5. Interpol Europe, or Inter Europol, finished first in the LMP2 class. I wanted to mention that because Bryson Morris, one of our former co-drivers that we used to race with here in the sister league, Last Man Standing Motorsports, he actually was he races with Inter Europol in the LMP3 car, and so he's on that same team that won the 24 hours in the LMP2, so that's pretty cool. Team WRT and Duquesne team rounded out the top 3 in the LMP2 class, and then the big win for the LMGTE. Now the LMGTE final race for the Le Mans, for the GTE AM class, the very final race of their illustrious season time, whatever you want to call it, is over. And the final winner of the final race in GTE at Le Mans, the Corvette. Yeah, they won a few times. And, they won it again this year. Great race by the Corvette team, the 33 car. Interesting that the 33 car, the Corvette, had a problem early on. They had to change a duct on the front of the car and went down a lap, and they have actually come back. They actually were able to come back and win the class. So that's pretty cool. Brandon, with another fast lap, 356.0. Are we going to see a 355? Are we going to actually see a 355 today? It's possible, because these guys are doing everything they can to make it happen. Morgan Teggy out front, followed by that black Porsche 911 you see there, and you're going off the bottom. That's Kyle Robinson. This is Brandon Dooley, followed by Emmett Blinkist. Josh and Jason are 4th, 5th, and 6th, and they are still nose to tail with Philip Scott in tow. Back behind these guys is Michael Mooney. He's a couple seconds back. He's got about 24 seconds between him and the guys in front, and he has Drew Schiller right behind, just 3 seconds back there. You can see Drew in the background, and that is 8th and 9th. 6 for Ryan Fry. And Gray Welch in P11 in the 19 car. A little bit of a gap now. The field's kind of stretched out back here. Brett Fay in the 317 running in P12. Alex Good in the 79 car in Sean Williams in number 6 rounding out the field. Still on the lead lap. It's hard to get lapped here. Even with an 11 lap race, it's pretty tough to get lapped when there's such a very large 8.5 mile racetrack to go around. Looks like Morgan has calmed down the 911. Maybe he went out during that practice session and figured out what to do with the back end of the car to get it to stick. New lap record for the race, 3:55.631. We'll see if anybody else has anything for that. It doesn't look like it. So it looks to me like Morgan has figured this car out. Maybe he made a slight adjustment. We'll have to ask after the race. Hopefully he'll stay in this position so he stays in the booth, and we'll see what he's got going on. GTE AM competition in Le Mans for the final time finished this morning with the Corvette number 33 out front, followed by the number 25 ORT. I don't know who that is. And then 86 GR Racing. They don't have who they are. Iron Dames finished in 4th in class. They were doing great. Just missed that podium. Let's see if anybody else has the manufacturer. Yeah. Thank you, Motorsport TV. Never trust those guys. Click on the link and you get nothing. Absolutely nothing. Shows the drivers, doesn't show the car. Doesn't show whose car it is, like what kind of car. Doesn't show the manufacturer. Brandon Dooley just a 1/10 of a second faster than Kyle Robinson last lap, but it looks to me like Brandon is gaining on Kyle. He's pulled a little bit away from Emmett. That looks like more of a gap than the time shows on the last lap. 56.7 to Emmett's 56.4 last time around. This lap, Brandon really is on his horse. He's making up some ground, and he has put a gap, a 2.6 second gap between him and Emmett. And he's narrowed down the gap to Kyle in front down to just 1.2 seconds. And as these guys go down into the Mulsanne corner, they are still 5, 6, and 7 right together. Jason, Josh, and Philip. Nobody can make any moves right now. Everybody's just kind of locked in, trying to make that gain, trying to pick up those precious 1/10ths of a second. As we just have one lap to go this time by as Morgan comes around through Indianapolis into Arnage. One more time around. This is the one to go, was where he had the problem when he was in third last race and spun in the Porsche curves. Let's see if he can handle Porsche curves this time. He doesn't have as much pressure on him as he now has an 8.6 second lead over Kyle Robinson, who is now being caught by Brandon Dooley. Brandon pulling right up behind him now. Close that gap. Brandon with a great lap. Going into Porsche curves here right behind Kyle. Maybe the car's not holding up for Kyle the way he wanted it to. This is later in the race. They only ran 6 laps last time. Kyle didn't seem to have any drop off, but this time maybe he's got the tires a little too worn out. Maybe they didn't get tires. Maybe that's the difference, how Kyle leapfrogged that 7 seconds. Is Kyle jumped out front without getting tires. We're going to have to find out what happened in the pit strategies, because we don't have anybody down there in the pit lane talking to the crew chiefs, because there aren't any crew chiefs. And there's the reason why that Kyle got the jump. Kyle in the pits for fuel. Did not get enough fuel in. That's how he got the 7-second lead. And that puts Brandon into second position. And Emmett back in the podium spot in third in the number 40. Kyle Robinson is going to plummet here through the field in the 28 cars. He comes through the pit lane, dropped already back to P7, and he's probably going to lose another couple spots. He's going to have to battle back for those, as here comes Mooney coming through the Ford chicanes now. Oh, that's heartbreak for Kyle. He's going to be coming out right in front of Mooney. And that puts him back to P7. He should be able to hold that position. Gets himself back up to speed. I'm sure the tires are already warm. But that changes the outcome. Morgan Teggy out front by a massive 9 seconds. Brandon Dooley in second spot. Emmett Lindquist in third, with Jason and his partner Josh swapping spots back there. Jason currently in fourth, with Josh in fifth. Jason and Josh swap positions for the first time in the race. We haven't seen that before, so we'll see if that holds with Philip Scott. I'm guessing there are no team orders here. These guys are just going for it. Is it possible that Jason saved some tires just in the draft, waiting during the race, and now he's got a little bit better tires? I don't know. Did they get tires on their pit stop? I don't know. Let's send it down. Let's send it down to the pit lane with our co-reporter that we don't have. We're going to have to wait till after the race to ask some questions. We'll jump into the lobby here when we get done. Hopefully everybody will be there. as Josh putting on the pressure. That would be terrible if the teammates actually made each other make a mistake with just the final lap to go here. They're on the last lap of the race. This is lap number 11. Morgan Teggy, after a very, very wild corner in the sprint race, is moved himself up into the lead on the start of this feature, and no one has been able to catch him. Brandon Dooley is trying his hardest, but Morgan still is the only one to run a 3:55 in the race. He's been able to pull out in front and is staying there. 10 seconds now the gap. Morgan is flying. In Indianapolis for the final time. We'll watch him go unless another battle picks up. It looks like everybody else is lying astern where they were. That battle between Josh and Jason.
Car in bad shape, Sean.
Could be a problem.
Yeah, bad enough. Sorry about that.
So the back markers getting together. That was the 79 of Alex Good talking to Sean Williams. Sean and Alex got together there coming around through the start-finish area. Here it is, Porsche curves. He can lay off a little bit. He doesn't have to push so hard this time with a 10-second gap. He can just kind of cruise through here. But it looks like Morgan has got the car fixed. I want to ask him if he made any changes to the setup in between the races, because he sure seems more stable this time. He's actually running extremely fast laps out here. Morgan Teggy coming through the last set of chicanes now. And Emmett Lindquist. Oh, that can't be right. And there he goes. Morgan Teggy takes the win. And that's going to be Brandon Dooley in second spot. He's got Emmett Lindquist in tow. And then I think your next driver is going to be Jason and Josh. And Philip tries to dive into the Ford chicane, but does not make it. Jason comes out on top. Josh in sixth. And Philip in P7. Kyle Robinson manages, after stop and go for fuel, come around for that was 7. Philip, that was 4th, 5th, and 6th. They shuffled up ahead. So Kyle Robinson finished in P7. Michael Mooney takes 8th spot here. As he slides through, he's going to get a slowdown there. He's going to have to hold it off and not cross the line with a slowdown. Don't cross with that slowdown. That'll give him another penalty. Hopefully he didn't. Drew Schiller, 9th position in the 27 car. Let's drop into the lobby, talk to some of these guys that have gotten the great finish in the race. Hey guys, Ron in the booth. Congratulations on the win. Morgan Teggy, are you there? Can you hear me? Am I live?
We can hear you.
Morgan had an issue. I wanted to ask him a question. He's out there still cruising. He's doing his victory lap. He's going into the first chicane. Brandon, what a great run. Good run on the first race. Came back through the field fighting hard to get that spot back. Ended up P2 in the feature. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. You were battling. Man, before the pit stop, Jason and Josh right in front of you. You didn't look like you could get alongside. I don't know if the two of them teaming together with the draft helped them out.
I think they were running lower downforce.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
That's
Jason.
the way it was with a lot of people. We could pass them and catch them up in all the corners, Kyle and I, but we couldn't do anything to get around them on the straights.
Yeah, it was almost like there was no draft at all.
I don't know. It felt like a pig on the straight to me.
You guys are running pretty quick on there, Josh. You guys look great. Jason got by you on the last with 1 to go. Was that? Was that?
I had to slow down from the Ford chicanes.
Those slowdowns will kill you. That was
Can you
really
hear me
cool
now?
to watch. Yes, I can hear you now, Morgan. That was awesome. Now, a question I have for you as you started up near the front. I think you started second on the feature and kind of took the start from Drew and never looked back. But when you were out there during your warm-up session, did you make a change to the car to stabilize it through the Porsche corners? Or did you just get better line through there?
Made no change. Yeah, just more laps helped. I haven't driven a GT3 car in, I think, 4 weeks. And I had zero practice going into this. Haven't driven this new 992 GT3 yet. So I think it was just relearning how to drive the Porsche after being so focused on the GTP cars.
Yeah, the 24 and the BMW. Well, congratulations on the win. That was really good. Morgan takes the victory here in the feature. And Brandon with second spot. Emmett Lindquist, man, you were cruising. Emmett, I didn't know that Kyle was going to run out of fuel. It looked like Kyle had third. But great run for you in the new Porsche as well. How do you like the car?
Thank you on the congratulations, but the car's pretty nice. It took a while to figure out a setup change that really benefited the driving style. Turns out I really just needed to stiffen up the front springs because I was struggling in practice a lot with the Porsche curves, but I was able to figure it out before the race, which thankfully was able to put in some good lap times.
Well, nice job on the podium. Good racing out there, guys. Everybody, it was a lot of fun to watch. Jason and Josh taking fourth and fifth. That pit stop, Kyle, it looked like leapfrogged you guys by about 7 seconds, and it looks like we found out why.
My mind was blown. You have no idea. I pulled out of the pits. I'm like, how is this possible? I know he's fast in the pits, but not that fast.
Yeah, it looks like
I watched 5 people go past me in the pits.
Well,
I didn't make it to the first chicane and ran out of fuel.
Oh, really? So you took light on fuel too, just to try to thin it, skim it out.
I knew what the number was I needed leaving the pits, and I put it right on it.
So you ran out in the Ford chicane or in the Corvette curves?
No, in the Dunlop.
Oh, okay. You made it past the line. Okay.
Yeah. After I made it past the checkered flag, I didn't make it into turn 2, the first chicane.
Nice, cutting it thin on the fuel.
Still trying to burn off my extra fuel.
So is he doing donuts? I can't see. Oh, there we go. Get some good Teggy donuts on the broadcast here.
Engine just blew.
All right. Well, that was great to watch, guys. Great to broadcast. We got to figure out where all our drivers have gone. But it was a little thin on the numbers, but great on the action. Good job tonight. As always, don't race on the road. Race right here with us. We got plenty of room. There's only 16 of us in the race tonight. We got tons of room on the racetrack. East to West Racing is the place. Bigg Wizurd TV is the broadcast. These great drivers are the winners. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see everybody on the next race. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon. Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night.